Why, hello there, Mrs. Elke here, and thank you for joining me on Elke Art. Today we're going to do a fun little project about fish. So I love fish. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that's on my list of things that I love to draw and paint and do projects with. And so my third graders are doing fish projects with me as well. But this would work really for almost any age. So today we're going to be drawing fish, and then I want to show you a fun printing technique to add some color to the fish that we draw. So we'll be using some lines, some line designs, some shapes, and some color, baby color, to add some excitement to these fish. Here's some examples of some ones that I have here. We've got this one going on. We've got a couple more. They come in all kinds of different shapes, and you can see some of the colors that ended up happening on these fish are super fun. So get ready. I've got materials listed in my video description, and let's get started. I have some watercolor paper laid out. It's a little bit thicker. I think this is 90-pound paper. And I'm going to be drawing with the Sharpie, but you can always draw with pencil first if you are concerned about messing up or making a mistake. And I'm going to start off by making a dot. And I want to do it up way by the top of my paper. And then I'm going to turn that dot into a line that curves almost to the very edge of my paper. And I'm going to do another line that curves underneath to connect to that line. So it almost looks like the start of a giant eyeball. And then I'm going to go ahead and add kind of a heart shape to the back. Now notice when I add this heart shape, it's not connected to the very tip, but it connects more to the body of the fish. That way when I cut it, the tail doesn't just fall off. So make sure you have a wide connection there. I'm going to make another fish by doing the same thing on the very bottom of my paper. Notice I'm getting very close to the edges and really taking up a good amount of space. I want these fish to be giant and to really fill my paper here. I added a tail there as well. You can see I've got enough of a connection so when I cut these out, my tail won't fall off. I'm going to fill this space right here with another fish, and I'm going to really fill this area again and then add another tail. Now I don't have to make all of my tails and fish the same, so maybe this one will have a little bit of a different tail than my other ones. They'll come to a point at the end. Notice, nice and fat, filling up lots of space. I've got some space up here that I want to fill, so maybe I'll make a longer skinny fish, but it can go right up next to my other ones. I'm going to go ahead and draw a tail for that one as well. And then I still have some space in the middle here that I need to fill with some fish. So you can decide to do some little ones or some big ones. I think maybe I'm going to try to do at least two more. I don't know, maybe one more. I can make some dots in here and connect them. Maybe this one will have more of a rounded front. I think I'm just going to use this guy to fill the space. I'll add some tail. This one will have a nice rounded tail again, and it connects to the body, not the tip of the body. All right, so I've got some nice big fish shapes. If you have room, you can throw a couple fins on as well. If you don't have room, not a big deal. I might throw a little bit of lips here on this fish too, so have fun with it. And now I want to go ahead and start adding some details to these fish so they look a little bit more like fish. I'm going to start off by making eyes close to the front of each of the fish by making a bigger circle with a smaller circle inside. I am going to do the same eye for all of my fish, but don't feel that you need to do the same eye on all of your fish too. You can change it up if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and add eyes to every fish first with a circle and a dot inside of the circle. And then I'm going to add a curved line that kind of separates the head of my fish from the body. So I'll just do it. It's kind of a curved line that goes around the eye and connects the top and bottom of the fish together. So you can see it's kind of like the letter C, or backwards C, depending on which direction your fish is going. All right. Now I want to think of some different patterns or designs that I could add to each of my fish. Now there's all kinds of different lines that you could try. You could try curved lines, wavy lines, bumpy lines, zigzag lines, striped lines. So, I mean, really feel free to do a nice variety of lines on your fish. You could also do a design using shapes on your fish. So think maybe polka dots or squares or hearts or zigzags. Is not a shape as a line, but you get the idea. So you could even combine and do some lines and some shapes. So see if you can come up with a different pattern or design for each one of your fish. I'm trying to make it so that they're all a little bit different in the patterns and the designs that I add. This one, I think I'm just going to go with some stripes. I'll start in the middle. Maybe they'll curve just a little bit as the fish gets wider on the top and the bottom. And I want my lines to be nice and strong. Let's see, I still need a pattern here. Maybe this one will have some stripes. Maybe it's like a tiger fish or something. So I'm going to go ahead and add these triangular shapes to the top and the bottom of my fish to make it look like it's got some stripes going on. And we'll put those in throughout the body until the body is nice and full. And then I've got one more fish up here whose body needs a design. So I have to think of one more activity or one more pattern that I can add to this fish. And I think I'm just going to add some curved lines here, like that. Maybe I'll throw a couple of shapes inside, in this case some circles, to fill up all of this fish. All right, all of the bodies have different patterns on them. Now I'm going to look at the fish tails. So I want to think of some different things I could maybe do to fish tails. You could make them all the same, you could make them all different. You could change it up. If you did go ahead and add a couple of fins, you could add some lines or patterns to those as well. So get creative, see if you can add some nice designs to your fish. Now, if you are doing all of these in pencil, it will be helpful to trace them with a Sharpie afterwards. I do not recommend using marker because that will not work for what we are doing next. So if you do not have a Sharpie, you could also use a black crayon or a black oil pastel would work too. But something that will help trace the lines so that they are a little bit stronger than pencil lines would be great before we do the next part of our project, which will be print making. All right, I think I am good to go. I like the design here that I have on all of my fish. You can add mouths or smiles if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step. So I am working on aluminum foil, and I am going to to color it in various places on the foil with different colors. Now, I like to use colors that go well together so that if they run together, they still look good. I would try to avoid colors that kind of clash, like blue and orange when they mix kind of make a brown, so I didn't really want to use those, where blue and purple look really nice mixed together. So I started with blue. I'm adding some purple right next to my blue because blue and purple mix really well together. I will add some green next to my blue because blue and green blend well together too. So I'm going to go ahead and color in areas near my blue with green to get those filled in. And you can see I'm not really doing any type of pattern or design. It's just kind of filling my foil with color. And then blue and yellow make green, so I know those colors go well together too, so I'll fill in some areas with yellow as well. It really looks nice. I can go ahead and fill in any open areas that are still not colored with my yellow. All right. Time to do the printing part. So my foil is ready to print. Now I'm going to use a water spray bottle and just give my foil a little spray all over. So a couple sprays to make sure the entire thing has little water droplets on it. You know it's ready to go. I'm going to take my fish, flip them over, and set them down on the foil. And then I'm going to press all over with my hands to get my paper nice and full of color. So I'm going to go ahead and rub all over my paper and peel it off to reveal some glorious color. Oh, look at that. What a nice print. Beautiful. I love how the blues and the greens are combining, the blues and the purples. If there are a couple areas that are still white, you can get those wet with water and then just press down with your foil on those areas. I have a little bit of extra marker, so I can just kind of fill those areas in with some of the leftover marker on my foil, and that will get my entire paper nice and covered with some beautiful color. Wow, so nice. I just love the look of these fish. All right, you want to set that aside and let it dry. Now that mine is dry here, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So each of these fish will become its own little beautiful, colorful fish. And I'm going to take my time using my scissors here to cut them out of my paper. Now this paper is a little thicker, so you'll have to be careful as you cut. It might be a little bit more challenging, but that will hold, the fish will hold its shape a little bit better to not rip as easily with the thicker paper. And here are my fish. So we used our fish in 3rd grade to make a collage. We used some painted paper that we had and a blue background and made these nice little underwater scenes. But feel free to have fun using your fish however you would like as well. Thanks so much for watching and joining me on Elke Art. I hope to see you again for more fun soon. Have a good one.